What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video with Let's Talk Coins. Today, we are going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be going over the different types of grades and what they mean and how they are graded that by the grading companies. So, with that being said, we're just going to hop right into it and make this a little bit of a shorter video. So, first up over here, you can see I have a silver 3-cent piece right here. So, the silver 3-cent piece, this was graded by Annex. As you can see, this empty Annex case over here. I tore it out so I could put it into my typeset. So this coin was graded by Annex. Let's see if I can set this down and get it to focus. So this was graded by Annex. So it got graded an AG3, or about good 3. And it's got details because it was scratched. So this coin was graded by Annex, as I said, an AG3. So AG3, the definition of an AG3 is a well-worn with main features clear and bold, although rather flat. So, it's a very heavily worn with portions of lettering, date, and legend worn smooth. So the date may be barely seeable, or you could barely read it. So if you guys can see down there, at the very bottom of that coin, let's see here, you can kind of just barely read the 1851, and it's got all scratches and everything. As you can see, States is all worn out. United, you can barely read the U. And then America and of are just completely gone. On the obverse, the reverse is a little bit better, but all the star details are worn. The details in the little C that you see, so the cent sign, they are all worn, and the details on the Roman numerals for 3 are also all worn. It's also got some spots and everything, which is why that coin graded AG3. Next up here, we have a 1916S G4 graded by IGS. Now, this is a third-party grading company. I personally do not recommend them. I bought this coin at an auction, and it got graded a good 4. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, but, you know, it is what it is. So, if I can get it to focus in the date, or see the date, it's a 1916S, and the coin is very worn. The back of it is also pretty worn. So what you're looking for on wheat cents when they're getting graded, the corn stalks, or the wheat stalks, sorry, they should have lines going through them, and you should be able to see some dots, or not dots, some detail on the bottom half as well. So as you can see on this one, there isn't a whole lot of detail on the top half nor the bottom half, but I'll give you the definition for good 4. So it's heavily worn with the design visible but faint in areas, and many details can be flat. So you can see the ear. The ear is usually right here. In fact, I'll get another one to compare. So on this one, the ear is much more apparent, and the chin is more apparent, and everything is just a lot better looking. On this one, you can see the cheekbone has disappeared and the ears disappeared. The eye has barely any detail, and the Liberty and the tie on his shirt has very little detail. So that's why this one graded a good 4, in my opinion. Again, all this is opinionated, so you don't have to listen to anything I say in this video. It's just my personal, somewhat professional opinion. This one graded a VG10, which means well-worn with main features clear and bold, although rather flat. So main features being things such as the details on the wings, the eye, the beak, and the tail feather being main details on the obverse for this coin. And the main details on the back, obviously, being the wreath details. Let me flip it around. Being the wreath details, and also the little connector piece of the wreath down at the bottom there. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of detail, but not a whole lot, and it's really worn. And then on the front side, as I said, the eye, the feathers, or the eye, the wings, and the tail feathers, you can see there's kind of still a little detail on the lines in the wings, and the eye still has a little bit, and then the tail has just a smidgen at the very inside there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's just got a very small amount of detail on it, which is why that one graded a VG10. Next up, we have a 1914D Lincoln Cent. This is a very rare coin. It graded a fine 15. I believe this is PCI, yep. Another third-party grading company wouldn't recommend it. Bought this coin at the coin show. It was a bad grade, and it was from a third party, which made it a little bit cheaper, and it's a coin that I can fill the bucket with and say I have. So fine 14 fine 14, the definition of that one is moderate to considerable even wear. So as you can see, it's kind of evenly worn. The tie, the cheekbone, and the ear all have somewhat of the same amount of wear. And then the case has some scratches on it, but it's all kind of worn across the same. And on the back, the wheat stalks have much better detail than on the previous graded Lincoln Cent. So it's got some nice even wear to it. The hair you can still see a lot of detail in, and it's just it's kind of a beat up coin. It kind of looks like somebody used it as a stress coin. They rubbed their fingers on it, and it's got its fair share of use, so it's definitely circulated, but the wheat stalks still have that detail on it, which I believe is why it got the fine 15 that it did. Next up, we have very fine. So far we've gone from about good to good, or AG to G to very good, or VG, to fine, or F or FN, and now we're on very fine. So as you can see here, we have very fine 20. The definition of very fine is moderate wear on design high points. So design high points on this coin would be things such as the In God We. The We there is a high point considered. It's stamped further up onto the coin, so that's why you can't see it. So there's a lot of wear there. More high points are things such as the flowers. Not a whole lot of detail on the obverse on that. And then on the reverse, obviously the wreath and the connector piece on the wreath is also going to be high points, as well as the 2. So those are the high points on this coin. So it will have moderate wear on the design high points. All major details are clear. So as you can see, the lines on the shield are very clear, along with some of the lines on the feathers or the flowers on the design on the front. These the back wheat stalks is what it looks like. I guess it's the tail feathers of the arrows, now that I'm looking at it. Those have very clear details. And then on the reverse as well, there are the 2 is very clear, and the wreath has very clear details as well. Which is why this one, I believe, got the VF20 that it did. Next up is actually a coin that I do not have graded, but I do have things similar to it. So this coin right here is a brilliant uncirculated, so it would grade anywhere from the choice, or from the about uncirculated range to the choice about uncirculated, which is between AU50 and AU55. So this coin, the definition of about uncirculated is traces of light wear on many of the high points. At least half of the mint luster is still present. So mint luster is the thing being that if you take a really shiny coin, for example, this is not a graded coin, but if you take this coin, it's not American, but you can kind of see if I rotate it, there is like a shine and a little bit of a luster on it. That would be mint luster. Now, a coin that's been worn, such as this one, will not have a very much mint luster at all. So that's the difference between mint luster and no mint luster. So at least half of it is still visible. It's kind of hard to see through the case and through camera as well, but there is still a little bit of luster. If you guys can see that when I'm doing this through the light. So there is a little bit of luster on it. Let's see. And then high points are still have heavily detailed high points. So the stamp right there is a high point. United States of America is going to be a high point on this coin. And then on this side, United States of Liberty, the Liberty statue is going to be a high point as well. As you can see, almost all details are still visible. There might be some wear on the book and on her hand, as well as her eye and nose. And then on the top of the cross. On the back here, the stamp is going to have a little bit of wear along side of the United States of America. Looks pretty good. So that's why this one got brilliant uncirculated, in my opinion. And then also there's things such as extremely fine. So EF, usually it's a 40 or between 40 and 45. I do not have an extremely fine graded coin, unfortunately. If I did, it would be up here. But I do apologize for that. I'm still going to give you the definition of extremely fine. It's light overall wear on the high points. So the high points, let's say that you have a coin just like this. It'll have a little bit more wear than it would a brilliant uncirculated coin would. So it'll have a light wear on the high points. All design details are very sharp. Some of the mint luster is evident. So this coin also could have gotten an EF. So in my opinion, extremely fine and about uncirculated, or AU and EF, are very hard grades to differentiate. Things such as an AU 53 and an AU 50, you can kind of see where it gets a little bit nicer at some points, being the high points on the coin. So an EF and an AU, those two it could go either way in my opinion. But with that being said, we're going to move on to the AU 50. So the definition of AU 50 is trace of light wear on many high points. At least half the mint luster is still present, as I read on this coin. So this one is the 1914 D2.5 Gold Indian. As you can see, most of the feathers on his headgear, or on his headwear, they're mainly still visible on the details, and then his nose and eye are very apparent, along with his cheekbone is also very apparent. Liberty is in a great spot. If that was just stamped a little bit higher up, it would have probably gotten an EF instead of an AU, unfortunately. And then on the back, the eagle, as you can see, all the feathers on the eagle's wings are still visible, as long as the eagle's chest has a lot of detail as well. The eagle's eye is very clean, and the thing the eagle sits on also has all of its lines still. The $2.50 is very apparent in that D mint mark. I don't know if I can zoom in high enough for you to see it. The D mint mark is right here, if you guys can see it. It's there, it's just it's kind of more worn into the coin than everything else. So this is a very nice coin, and that's what the AU50 I think is a personally great grade, just because of the light wear on the headgear and the small amount of wear, if there is any, on the back or reverse of the coin, especially on that D mint mark. Next up, we have an AU53. Now, this is what I was talking about. It gets really hard to differentiate. Now, if you look at this coin and see the amount of wear on that headgear on the Indian, and then you move over to this one, you can clearly see that there's this almost the exact same amount of wear, if not a little bit more on this coin, especially in the hair. And then if we go to the reverse, you can see the wreath is not as apparent and doesn't have as much detail as the backside of this one. So personally, I do think this was a good grade. This one I think it should have gotten an AU50. Now, it is details anyway, so because it's damaged on the, I don't know if I can, oh man, that glare was bad. I don't know if I can show you guys this, but that damage up there and under the eye is there as well. So after AU53 kind of has the exact same, or close to the same definition as AU50. So we'll just go ahead and move on to Mint State 60. So Mint States is where it gets kind of hard, because you can see that one's graded in MS63, this one's graded in MS60, this one's graded in MS66, and this one's graded in MS69. So depending on the person grading this coin could have gotten an MS65, but it also could have gotten an AU55. So it really just kind of depends on who grades your coin. As you can see here, things like this one, Liberty in the headband is very apparent, and you can read it all, along with the prominent high points that are being brought out. There's not a whole lot of wear, especially on the little hat that she has. The hair is has a lot of detail, and the leaves on her, the back of the headband, are also very apparent, along with these wheat stalks up here have a lot of detail. The nose has a few scratches. That's just circulation error. It being put in a bag and bounced around can cause those scratches. Now on the back here, I believe this is the 7-tail feather. It is. So you can see that all 7 tail feathers there. You can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the tail feathers have good detail. The chest on the eagle has good detail. Eye on the eagle is phenomenal detail, and all the wing feathers are very apparent. The little wreath thing that goes around the eagle is apparent, and the back of the arrows also have plenty of detail. The leaves that the stick with 3 leaves on it that the eagle is carrying also has very good detail on it, as well as the edge of the coin. So then we'll move on to the 1922 MS63. Now I'm going to give you the definition of MS60 real quick before we get into that. So MS60 is a coin with no trace of wear, but may show a number of contact marks, as I've said. So the contact marks, as you can see, that's a contact mark, contact mark, contact mark, contact mark. There's just a whole bunch of them. So it's a coin that has no trace of wear, but may show a number of contact marks, and whose surface may be spotted of lack and or lack of some luster. So it did have a little bit of lack of luster, and I do see the contact marks. So MS60 was a pretty good grade, again, depending on who grades it. Because this one, I can see there's some contact marks already, but it got the MS63, which MS63 is a coin with some distracting contact marks or blemishes in prime focal areas, and luster may be impaired. So the luster, obviously, you can see those yellowish parts. The luster is not going to be as apparent there, but this coin, the hair has a lot of detail for a piece dollar. Now I do think it's got a little wear in the hair there, and then the doubled tiara, it's a SOAVAM 8, which means that there's 2 tiaras, as you can kind of see the doubling. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. And then the 1922 is very apparent. The nose and eye details are great. The eyebrow has, you can clearly see the eyebrow. The mouth has great details as well. The only thing I'm concerned about on this one is the contact marks all around the edge and a lot in front of her nose. Then you flip to the back. Eagle has a nice detail on the feathers and on the tail. The one does have a little wear and some more contact marks on the back here. Peace does have some contact marks and is a little bit more worn, but the overall good detail on the back as well with the eagle's eyes and mouth and feathers. So then we'll move on to MS66. This is a Lincoln cent. As you guys can see, a strong detail in the cheekbones. The hair is very nice. It almost looks like a proof coin, but it is not. It's not proof. The luster is not there for the proof luster. So it's got to be an mint state 60. See the lines on the wheat stalks as I was talking about before, and the kind of like I can't remember the word, but the bottom of the wheat stalks is also very nice. A few contact marks on the back here, but overall no wear. So the MS66 is an above average circulated coin that may have a brilliant or lightly toned, and has very few contact marks on the surface or rim. So as you can see, those are really the only contact marks that you can see on this whole entire coin. There might be a few down there, but on a Lincoln cent, that is not bad, especially considering there's very few on the front, if any at all. So a 1957D, very apparent. Again, look at the tie on his shirt, very apparent, along with all of the wrinkles or folds in his suit. Again, the hair looks very nice and the cheekbone is great too. The ear has a lot of detail as well. So overall, a really nice coin. Next up, MS69. This is really close to proof. The only reason it didn't grade proof is because it doesn't have the proof luster. So it could have got an uncirculated MS70, but it didn't because I believe these contact marks up and on the reverse that I will show you here in a second. But an MS70, perfect new condition, showing no trace of wear, the finest quality possible with no evidence of scratches, handling, or contact with other coins. So this coin probably, most likely, was taken straight out of a roll and was got graded. And then on the back here, I will try to show you some of the few contact marks that it has. And then, so as you can see, there's a few contact marks down here, and then other than that, that's the really only bad thing about this coin, and even then there's not a whole lot. So there's also a few contact marks up here as well, but other than that, it's a really nice coin overall. Then we have this coin right here. This quarter, as you can see, the luster is a little bit different, and it's got more of a frosty tone on Washington's head. I do not have a proof graded coin, but I do have this coin, which came from a proof set. So as you can see, the luster on this coin is a little bit different, and the details are much more apparent. It's also a 1990S, which tells you that it's a proof coin with the luster. But luster on proof is basically surfaces are reflective with no other blemishes and secondary focal places, no major flaws. So if I try really hard, I bet I could make you guys be able to see the camera that I'm filming with out of this coin in the background or the lower print side of this coin. I could also pull out, give me 1 second, I'm going to get the typeset and I'll show you another proof coin. Things such as that coin right there is proof. As you can see my phone out of the coin. That is clearly showing that it's proof. It's got proof luster on it. Same goes with these 3 coins up here. These are all proof coins as well as that coin right there, that one, and that one. Those 3 are all proof coins as well because of the proof luster. So with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys did learn something about the grades, and if not, I hope you guys still enjoyed seeing some of the graded coins that I have and what grades they got and how they got the grades and what they should have been graded in my opinion. But I'm sorry it was longer. I know I said it was going to be short. It kind of got away from me. But I thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and dropping a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see in future videos. But thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching.